Everybody talks about the Chiefs or the Patriots when it comes to dynasties in the NFL, but there's one team quietly building what might be the NFL's next super team. And that's the Houston Texans. They've got an elite defensive core, a young roster, a head coach players love playing for, and now an O-line around Stroud that can get him back to the level of play that he's shown before. This team isn't rebuilding anymore. They're trying to win a Super Bowl right now. The Texans have been building this thing piece by piece, and now it finally looks complete. Seriously, think about how fast this rebuild has happened. Just a few years ago, Houston was one of the worst teams in football. No direction, no franchise quarterback, no identity. Now, they might have one of the best young cores in the entire NFL. One of the biggest reasons Houston feels different is the culture. Players love playing for DeMeco Ryans, and you can see it on the field. This team plays fast, physical, confident, and that's not an accident. Houston finally has something every contender needs, an identity. And that identity shows up most clearly on one side of the ball. The defense is already at championship level. This defense is unbelievable. They have two of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Will Anderson had 12 sacks last season, and Danielle Hunter added 15 sacks himself. Their secondary is one of the best in the league as well. Derek Stingley is a top 3 cornerback, and Kamari Lassiter is no slouch. And it's not just those 4 guys. They have so many more top-level guys at their respective position. The defense was so dominant last year, they only allowed 17.5 points per game, causing lots of havoc for even the best offenses in the NFL. The defense carried the Texans throughout last season and definitely in the playoffs, scoring 14 points on their own versus the Steelers. They were no doubt one of the most dominant defenses we have ever seen. Most teams are trying to build either an elite offense or an elite defense. Houston might have both if their fixes for the offensive line work out for them. Probably the biggest factor on if Houston can become a super team is if they can finally start protecting CJ Stroud or not. The Texans completely reshuffled the offensive line after trotting out one of the worst offensive line situations in the last decade. But this offseason, the Texans virtually have overhauled their entire offensive line, signing Wyatt Teller from Cleveland, Braden Smith from the Colts. Those two are among the best in their positions, and they drafted Kalen Rutledge as well. The Texans have said they want to lean into a more physical run game. These changes on their O-line show that, and these players fit the scheme much better. Houston knows they don't need Stroud playing hero ball every week. If the run game improves and the protection improves, this offense can become scary. But none of that matters if the quarterback play does not get better. Get how insane CJ Stroud's rookie season really was. Over 4,100 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. That was one of the best rookie quarterback seasons ever. But the 2 years since that season, his numbers have fallen little by little. But I wouldn't put all the blame on CJ Stroud. Context matters. Houston's offensive line has struggled badly. Stroud was consistently under pressure. He was sacked 75 times over the last 2 seasons, and he even missed some games. But not only that, the Texans have dealt with tons of injuries on the offensive side of the ball. Tank Dell has suffered multiple season-ending injuries with a broken leg and a torn ACL. Stephon Diggs tore his ACL in 2024, and even Nico Collins has dealt with lingering injuries and concussions that have kept him off the field. Most teams would fall apart because of all those injuries, but Houston didn't. That's why what they've built is so dangerous. The Texans have the blueprint that every NFL team wants, an elite young quarterback in CJ Stroud, defensive stars in Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, and Derek Stingley. Wide receiver 1 in Nico Collins, who's had over 1,000 yards the last 3 seasons. A great coach, DeMeco Ryans, has changed that culture completely. And a young core. They aren't old and falling apart. Most of this team is still entering their prime. And the scary part, Houston still feels early. This isn't an old team making one final run. Their best players are still getting better. And that's why the Texans don't feel like a good team anymore. They feel like the NFL's next dynasty. So the Texans might not be a super team yet, but if Stroud bounces back, if the offensive line holds up, and if the defense stays elite, Houston might be the next team holding the Lombardi Trophy. The league spent years waiting for the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty to finally end, but what if an even better dynasty is being built in Houston?
It is a new NFL rookie record for C.J. Stroud. And now, can they win it? Stroud to the end zone. Touchdown! Tank Dell! C.J. Stroud!